Welcome to Paladin Financial Talk. I'm your host, Jeff Quick, and I'm joined here today by Mr. Tony Shore, a man so intelligent, he's required to file additional paperwork, oftentimes in the form of a parking ticket.
You got me on that one. I was not expecting that. Yeah, I haven't actually gotten a parking ticket in a while, but I do have a story. Should I throw my own youngest daughter under the bus?
Sure.
For today's show?
Yeah.
Since you mentioned parking tickets. My daughter, 19 at the time, or 20 at the time, now she's 21, goes downtown Minneapolis to go to meet her friends to go to a Timberwolves game or a Twins game. I can't remember which it was. I think it was the Twins. At any rate, we get a call. Actually, my older daughter got a call from her because she was embarrassed to call us. As always, she was running late, which she often does, rarely on time, always running late, in a hurry. She parked in a bus lane.
Oh, no.
Her car was gone when she came out.
Shocking.
I'm like, wait, you parked in a bus? Like her friend... She finally got a hold of her friend, and her friend, because her friend walked to her car and said, "See ya," and she walked to her car, but it wasn't there. Well, she finally got a hold of her friend who swung back around to where she was.
Yeah.
And said, "Where were you parked?" "I was parked right there." And there's no other cars there, right? and she goes, her friend goes, "That's a bus lane." She goes, "I parked right there." "You mean beside that sign that says bus lane, no parking?"
Too good to be true. It probably is, right? Downtown for a game, and there's just wide open parking spots.
She said there were other cars along that curb when she parked there. That's what she says.
I'm sure there were.
And I'm like, and she goes, "It's right outside the venue too." She just pulls up along the curb, parks, runs in. You can't
Perfect
make
spot.
that. You can't.
How lucky could one get?
You can't make it up. And then there's the time she backed into a sheriff's car.
Oh, geez. That's a story for another day.
All right. I won't get us off track. We can laugh about it now because Jeff and our listeners and viewers might know this, but time plus tragedy equals comedy. But you have to have time. So tragedy plus time equals comedy. Right?
See, I've always gone with it's never too soon for a good joke.
Oh, that's the difference, Jeff, between you and I. Yeah, that one's been over a year, so I can now laugh about it because at the time, I did not laugh about it.
Understandable.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've got the media company we use. We're advertising them on the show today, I see.
Bills in the mail.
There you go. All right. Well, hey, Jeff, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're going to talk today, Tony, about taxes. It's tax season. It's been the theme of the month. Question is, a lot of people wonder, maybe they do it themselves. With us starting Paladin Tax, a lot of questions are, should I pay a professional? Do it yourself or pay a professional? That's the question of the day.
I've heard that question from a lot of people. I've asked that question. Is it worth hiring somebody? Yeah. Now, I had the fortune of growing up. My mom was a CPA.
Okay.
So she did small business taxes for companies, and she was a bookkeeper for a construction company and a ready-mix company. So she always did my taxes. And when I got married, she always did my wife and I's taxes.
Sure.
But then, her health went downhill and we had to find someone else. And I got my buddy Joe up on 3 here
I think he's qualified.
I think he's more than qualified, don't you?
I do.
Actually, Jeff Foley recommended Joe to me when I was looking.
Sure.
Yeah. So I've always trusted a professional. I don't trust myself with the taxes. And my mom would always, it was before the standard deduction really was high.
Yeah.
So we'd always itemize, and I worked out of the house. So she really worked that and really got my taxes down. We always got money back. Yeah. So
I hope the IRS isn't listening right now.
No, she was above. Oh, if you know my mom, she was stricter with our stuff than she was with anyone.
If you say so.
No, she was. She was very strict. She followed the letter of the law, but she knew how to, a good tax person will help you minimize your tax burden.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So what's when does sometimes I guess when you're young, like my son does it himself for him and his wife.
Okay.
And I've told them, yeah, that's probably fine, right? If they're just newlyweds, they don't have a lot going on right now.
Sure.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it can be appropriate. There's some things that we're going to talk about today when it's appropriate. Where do it yourself tax prep may break down a little bit, and then how it fits into really long term financial planning. Those are kind of the three areas we're going to cover today.
Okay. Well, let's jump into this. I mean, I think a lot of people out there file their own taxes each year, and more do because of computer software and things like that, right?
They do, they do. A couple things. Taxes are probably the biggest expense most people face over their entire lifetime.
Yep.
Oftentimes they are during retirement. We have healthcare and then
Yep.
we have taxes, right? Filing correctly is one thing. It's not tough to file correctly. The question is more about, are you planning strategically?
Yeah.
And most of the time it's not errors in filing. It's just the missed opportunities that you're really, really missing out on. If you do put it through the tax software, yeah, it's going to tell you it was entered correctly. It's not going to tell you if you missed something or if you're missing out on future opportunities.
That's exactly what I was saying about why I didn't want to do it myself and have my mom do it, because she knew the rules. And like, you can write off a portion of when I worked for record companies and did radio promotions. I could write off, you can subscribe to Billboard magazine or Rolling
Yes.
Stone and write off a portion of that as a business expense.
That's right.
And I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Right. I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
So it's knowing the rules. And boy, it takes a lot to know all the rules. I don't think anyone knows all all 77,000 pages of IRS.
Yeah,
tax
I don't know
code.
how many pages of the tax code, but it's enormous. It's enormous, right?
Right. So when does doing it yourself make sense then?
Like you mentioned, for your son, newly married. So anytime you have really simple and predictable income, right? W-2 income.
Right.
We're not talking business income, no rental properties, no complex investments. And really, maybe you're at a time in your life where there aren't any important decisions being made, no life changes. You start to have kids being born, right? College expenses, stuff comes up that can make it a little bit more complicated. You want to do
Sure.
some planning for, because like I said, the software does the calculations, right? It'll confirm that you entered all the data, in the right spots, but it doesn't answer any planning questions. It doesn't know what the future holds for you. It doesn't understand how one thing impacts other areas of your tax life.
Right.
Social Security, estate planning, all those types of things. So
Sure.
that's when it doesn't make sense to do it yourself any longer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If your income is simple and predictable, like you said, that's a good one. No major planning decisions. I mean, you're not starting to think about what my tax situation is going to be in retirement if you're young and just starting out. But boy, I would think the older you get, the more important it gets.
Yeah.
To work with a professional.
Absolutely. A lot of our clients we work with, we're doing Roth conversions, right? We do 100 plus Roth conversions probably a year.
Yeah.
In our office, maybe more. You've got capital gains, right? Realized, unrealized gains, capital losses. There's a lot of things that come into play, and you want to make sure you're coordinating this with all your other life events. Like I said, Social Security is a big one. Up to 85% of that can become taxable. You may have required minimum distributions you're incurring now at 73 or 75. Medical premiums, medical deductions. At what point does it make sense to no longer take, the standard deduction? So a lot of different things come into play. Refund, no refund. What am I trying to accomplish here? Right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And that's interesting. And so I think, there are times when DIY doesn't work because you can make a lot of mistakes when you're doing it yourself, right?
Yeah, 100%. You can. And again, it's not data entry errors, right? But there's things that are going on. It's not even the cost either. It's the overall value, right? 1 year of professional tax prep may save you thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars, right? You might look at it like, hey, a lot of people can prepare their taxes for free these days. A lot of seniors, right?
Sure.
No cost. You can go online, use the software the IRS provides, no cost. That's great. But at what point are you going to realize the benefits of maybe paying somebody a few $100 or 500 or $1,000? It
Yeah.
only takes one mistake or one discovery of a write-off or some other type of error to make all those years of having professional tax prep pay for itself. The other thing to consider is when you work with a tax preparer for a number of years, he's tracking your past tax years, right? If you came
He
in,
gets to know your situation, your family, he's got,
all of that.
my tax person said, hey, your two older children are going off of, you're not going to get a tax deduction this year. So we
Right.
need to plan for that.
Plan
You're
for that.
losing that deduction that you get for having a,
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. Even just the filing of a 1099. If you come in and last year you had a 1099, from Charles Schwab,
Yeah.
and you don't have it this year, it's going to trigger the question, hey, where is this? What happened to the money?
Yeah.
Did you transfer it? Did you spend it? Right? Because we're going year by year, and you can really help you to make sure you're not missing out on any opportunities.
Or any fines for not paying taxes on the right thing.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. So you can compare the cost. I mean, DIY is less. I mean, if you're a senior, it can be as cheap as nothing. Software costs money, so you might have $200 into it. And you said professional preparation can be, anywhere from $500, $400 or $500.
$500 is a pretty standard cost, I would say, for a basic 1040 and state tax return.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah. But if you can save thousands over time,
right?
My goodness.
Yeah.
That's no comparison.
Not to mention the time it does take to prepare your own taxes.
Right.
Maybe the stress. I don't enjoy looking at my own money and taxes and, deductions and did I do this and did I do that? It's a stressful time. I don't think anybody enjoys tax season. So just having that burden removed from having to do that yourself and track everything, there's a benefit there as well.
The majority of people out there are like myself. I don't enjoy spreadsheets. I don't enjoy doing taxes and thinking about it and thinking about what am I going to owe? What's this? And that is where I think it's well worth it for me to know a professional is looking at it and they're not going to miss things I would miss. But we do, I'm sure, have some listeners out there. There are those special people who love to dig into an Excel spreadsheet, love to work with numbers.
Yep.
I'm not going to name names, Jeff Foley, but there are people out there like that. All you guys up there at Paladin are somewhat like that. But the difference is you're professionals. That's why I always tell people, I was told there would be no math. That's where you come in. That's why you're here, Jeff.
Well, the other nice thing, if you are a do-it-yourselfer on the tax side and you're working with us at Paladin, we also have other tools we use where we will plug in our clients' tax returns to evaluate them, look for potential missed opportunities there as well. So whether or not you work with us or a tax professional, we're going to evaluate your tax situation and look for ways we can improve that and just ensure you're not paying any more than you're legally obligated to pay.
Yeah.
And looking for opportunities for Roth conversions and estate planning opportunities and things of that nature down the road.
Well, yeah. And you guys there's a big difference between tax preparation and tax planning. And I know you guys do a lot of tax planning for your clients. You're not CPAs doing tax preparation, although you work alongside CPAs and you have a tax firm that you are starting.
Correct.
But a lot of people see taxes as a once a year thing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, once a year I have to deal with taxes and it's just a once a year chore. But really, you guys look at the big picture and you need to be thinking about how taxes are going to fit into your overall financial plan and future plans like retirement.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's a ton of things that can be done through proactive tax planning and not just recording history, as we like to say, especially when clients are looking at retirement, lifestyle changes. Maybe you're retiring pre-65, right? No Medicare. You need to now purchase private health insurance. There's things you can do in the years leading up to that can reduce the cost of private health care. through that as well. So
Yeah.
it really pays to work with a professional, to have plans as far into the future as we can, so we can start to make decisions today that will provide you, the best financial outcome down the road.
So what I hear you saying, Jeff, is that, some decisions you make today could help minimize your tax burden in retirement and even go as far as to then save you money on Medicare premiums, where if you
Yes,
have too much taxable income in retirement, your Medicare premiums go up. A
that's
lot of people don't realize that.
that's
That's
correct.
Aunt Irma, Uncle
Correct.
Sam and Aunt Irma. Once you get to retirement, they're going to really want to get that money out of you while they still can,
Yeah,
right? That's the
100%.
problem.
Yep. So it's not just about reducing necessarily taxes today, but looking into the future and your
Yeah.
overall financial picture.
All right. So, what are some takeaways here? What can we do about all this?
Like I said, the main thing is to have a plan. You have to remember your taxes impact everything, your investment, your retirement income, Social Security, IRMA, right? All your deductions there. You want to look at cash flow. What happens now to your survivors? If you're looking at overall estate planning and working with your family as a whole to reduce your tax burden, there's additional things that we can do. So it's really about having a plan and, again, discussing that with a financial professional that can help you make the best long-term plan for you and your family.
That's huge. And you said that Paladin it has started or is starting. You have your own tax firm now,
We
Paladin
do.
Tax.
We do. We have Paladin Tax that we've started. So we have a team of tax professionals, CPAs that can work with our clients, not only individual tax returns, business returns as well. So we got the ability to work with every one of our clients and help them out from whatever basis they need from a tax perspective.
See, that's huge. And to have all that under one roof, I mean, it just really helps. And that way you can just pop in an office. Hey, what's the tax situation here? Because he wants to do this Roth conversion, or this couple wants to make sure that they are not going to be in a higher tax bracket once they retire. And then you can talk to the CPA right there. That's great.
Correct. And man, make sure, like I said, we do a lot of work as financial advisors on the tax side of things.
Yes.
But now for us to have access to a CPA and financial professionals, tax professionals that can then just, put their stamp of approval on our ideas prior
Right.
to us making recommendations to the clients, and just ensuring we're doing everything in their best interest and not
Perfect.
overlooking anything.
See, that's great. And it means you can cover both sides, tax preparation and tax planning. You've been doing financial advisors do tax planning for the future,
Yes.
but tax preparation is different
Yes.
and you have to have a CPA for that. And so I think that's great. And it's just a one more value add on there for your clients, and something that you're integrating into your system. And Paladin really is, I hate to, I don't make it trivial, but it's a one-stop shop.
I knew you were going to say that.
Did you know that was coming?
Well, it really, it's 100% right. It's very accurate, and it really, to be able to combine all that in one spot for our clients with the channels of communication we have with the estate planning attorneys and now the tax professionals, along with our financial advice, really brings everything together and puts our clients in a great spot to be successful.
That's awesome. Well, before we go, Jeff, let our listeners out there know how they can get a hold of you if they have questions about this, about tax preparation, tax planning, or just an overall financial plan, investments, or a retirement income plan.
Yeah, you can find us on the World Wide Web, paladinfinancial.com, right? You can go and schedule an appointment with your financial advisor or request an appointment if you're not currently a client there. Or, of course, as always, you can call us at 651-842-8406. And we'd love to speak with each and every one of you.
All right, Jeff, great show today. Great topic. I love this topic because I think this is where so many people are missing out.
Absolutely.
And just not getting the advice they need to be getting. So good one, good topic. Listeners and viewers, thanks for tuning in. That does it for today's episode of Paladin Financial Talk with our host today, Jeff Quick.
And Mr. Tony Shore.